When I saw this on Twitter with an actor from King of the Hill, Jonathan Joss, was murdered due to an homophobic hate crime, to the point that it led to people in the LGBT community come together more, especially since that this happened on the first day of June. I had to make this video. I don't usually make videos involving topics involving people when it comes to allegations, but since that the allegation from this is that the murderer is homophobic that killed an actor who came out on liking men, and the fact that it led to the murderer killing him, honestly, this is a demonstration of what hate crimes could easily cause. Like, I have never watched King of the Hill. I have watched bits and pieces of it, but when I wasn't old enough to watch it. And if it was a show that I was familiar with, maybe I would feel a lot more depressed. But at the same time, when it comes to actors to shows that I'm not a fan of, I still think that they still deserve respect when it comes to them being into LGBT, when it comes to liking other men. And the fact that his husband completely confirms about the situation on the murderer killing his husband, then that just sums up a lot that the hate crime that the murderer caused has pushed too far. when when I witness people causing hate crimes, it's mainly of them instantly hating the crime so much that they really, really want to express their hatred towards it. But they, this guy didn't kill Jonathan Joss because he wanted him dead. It would still be as worse as him being homophobic, but the fact that he's literally doing this for the sake of him being in a relationship with another man sums up a lot that he is a lot more shallow than basically the people who aren't into these types of communities. Like, some people are not part of the LGBT community and are not homophobic would probably be a lot more respectful towards the people in the LGBT community. But when people who are completely hammering in on them not being into pride or LGBT or anything in particular, they just push it too far. Like, through the many years of me skipping this month by not celebrating it off of reviewing episodes from shows, I've been looking at so many people being too hypocritical when it comes to the final day of June, which is where LGBT community Pride Month comes to an end, and people just make tweets on the internet just throwing everything away that centers around Pride. And truth be told, that is probably a little pathetic, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure that this guy would be highly on board with that type of stuff, judging of how that he just killed someone who is married to another man. And the fact that my brother is in a relationship with another man that he's been in a relationship for several years, honestly, I really hope that something doesn't happen to him, like getting murdered or something serious like this. Now, as much as Jonathan Joss doesn't really deserve to get murdered, what really makes this a lot more important is the fact that whenever something happens when it comes to a real celebrity or someone gets killed due to an homophobic hate crime person, people probably won't be able to take it seriously and just act like it's not really much of a big deal due to the person being into another man. And truth be told, I know that some of you guys who post those tweets when it comes to the LGBT community being the worst community of all time, and the fact that other communities, mainly the military, deserve a month of the heroic efforts instead of just one day, which is Independence Day, which, truth be told, I'm not against the idea of those people deserving the month of their own instead of one day, but the truth is, despite with some LGBT community people who are part of the military, maybe LGBT people, those people who are not part of the military won't probably accomplish anything what the military people would do, nor probably do anything else due to that being in a position where they're just going to be pushed down due to people like homophobic people. And truth be told, as I don't even think that at this point demonizing the LGBT community, especially having a dedication month towards them, isn't really something that would probably make yourselves feel better. Because truth be told, if I was against something that I absolutely hate, I wouldn't go on and on, nor causing murder to instantly make myself feel better, because I would never feel better from that extent. And every time that people have that mindset, it really feels like that they really can't be able to accomplish anything completely due to basically either the decisions or the position that they're in when it comes to life hitting them. And at the same time, life will probably still hit people like Jonathan Joss and other LGBT people if stuff like this never happened. I mean, even if you may say that you can argue all you want on how much you're never into these communities, keep in mind, it took me a while to understand the passion when it comes to these communities. And while I do really wish I want to celebrate LGBT for this month if I wasn't too stressed out, at the very least, I do showcase of what I appreciate when it comes to LGBT. If anything, the fact that if you don't instantly find the passion into these types of communities, even though that the communities themselves aren't forcing you, then at the very least see of what people would really enjoy in these types of communities, and just don't be like these homophobic people. Because if anything, it just makes me to believe that the people who are making posts on Twitter when it comes to them hating LGBT stuff, it's either the fact that they just don't even understand of what makes those people excited. Granted, that's mostly different scenarios that have nothing to do with the model, but at the same time, it's probably gonna be difficult for people to consider on what type of community that makes people a little better, because if you literally make everything worse than it already is, nothing is worse anymore. Yeah, that's honestly my take on the fact that if you make everything worse and then the day after Pride Month ends or anything, you just ignore it and just trash it. And truth be told, I don't do any of that type of stuff. Granted, if I do want to throw stuff away when it comes to being done with the month dedicated to a community, I would just put them in boxes and just put them away for next year's. Like, it's really not that difficult. Like, that's like throwing away your Christmas decorations after just using them for December and never again, especially the following year. Like, Pride Month, despite being a holiday for LGBT community people, if it's not a holiday to you, if you're not part of the community, doesn't automatically mean that you should just instantly think that it's a overly glorified holiday for you when in reality the community isn't forcing it on you. And truth be told, the fact that Jonathan Joss may not have done that towards people since that he's a nice guy, and in homophobic people just think that killing him will probably solve the solution to their problems. Honestly, I never understand their goal of expressing hate crime. That just shows how toxic they are and just can't be able to leave well enough alone when it comes to the people like Jonathan Joss. So I really hope that this would gain more attention throughout this month, since that we still started on this month. And despite me not celebrating LGBT month with only 2 reviews of this month being non-LGBT related, I can only hope that in the future there's at least an episode from a cartoon or live action show that takes inspiration from this by having someone either young or old being into LGBT, being into men, and that person gets killed, would probably make an episode while dark, would do a huge showcase of what people should be fully aware when it comes to showcasing their disgust when it comes to LGBT. Granted, you don't have to be an LGBT, you don't have to be into the community since that they're not forcing you, but when you push stuff too far, stuff like this should be a showcase that you shouldn't push, you shouldn't cross any lines. If anything, if I see more and more people just expressing on how they can't stand the LGBT community, they probably wouldn't experience something like this. It will come to a point that one of them will probably come out on liking men, but at the same time, when someone comes after them for being homophobic, they will probably be unaware and it will be too late once they get killed. So, I really hope that this will gain more exposure throughout this month, despite being a really depressing time for the people in the King of the Hill community who enjoys this voice actor. And I really hope that LGBT community will improve as the years come by, because, honestly, even though it would probably not succeed everyone else's perspectives, at the very least, it's still doing its own thing, and that's more than enough of what they can accomplish when it comes to the community that they celebrate in 1 month of the year.